Welcome to E360 TV, the live streaming and on-demand destination for influential voices and enlightened audiences. We offer trending, grassroots, and purpose-driven content across a diverse range of interests. E360 TV is more than just watching programs. We offer the ability to interact with live shows connecting audiences to real, authentic influencers and storytellers while streaming to millions of devices. Real experiences. Raw conversations. One destination for it all. E360 TV.
5 years ago, the Power of We Symposium was 5 years ago, the Power of We Symposium was created to provide a platform for kids from all sectors where they could have a safe and comfortable environment in which to share both their joys and concerns. The Power of We Symposium is proud to have served over 250 kids throughout Romania when we took our mission global back in May of 2023. Now, 2 teams of amazing volunteers from both the U.S. and Romania embarked on an 8-day Legacy of Hope tour, bringing encouragement and hope to not only the kids of Romania, but also the adults who support them, and also to over 100 kids here in the U.S. who contributed handwritten letters of hope to our Romania mission of 2023. Now, this year, we are proud to provide this opportunity yet again in October, and we are super excited to up our game. New venue, 750 kids this time, and we want to see you there. We're looking forward to meeting you in person at this year's event, which promises, as always, incredible speakers, amazing content, and of course, some of the greatest kids on the planet. So, mark your calendars for October 24th, and we'll see you here in Chicagoland for the Power of We Symposium 2024. This year's theme is Always Together, Never Alone. Tickets are available now on Eventbrite or at powerofwesymposium.com.
Before you get it, baby, show me your soul. And honey, I'll show you mine. I'll show you mine. Boy, I'm standing right here holding up a sign, shamelessly displaying my state of mind. You walk right past me, pretending like you don't see what's yours for the taking tonight.
Wait for it. Okay, I'm done. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. It's Monday, one of my favorite days, and I have 6 others. Can you guess what they are? Every other day, you doggone Skippy. Listen, it's a wonderful day to be above ground. Can I get an amen? Hey, you guys, how was your weekend? I had a great weekend. I really did. Ooh, guess what I did Friday night? And don't say, I don't want to hear nothing. So what? All people are my people. I went to a Republican Party fundraiser, sold out, over 800 people. Senator John Kennedy was the keynote speaker, but I was there to really just listen. I didn't know so much doggone bashing went on at those things from the stage. Don't even go there. And but I went to support my good friend, Dr. Kent McCardo. You guys remember Dr. Kent? He was on the show back a couple months ago. He's a surgeon and an attorney. Overachieve much, Kent? And so he invited me because he's really running right down the middle for all people. So it was great. It was very interesting. There were probably, I think, 2.5 total black people. I was the half in the whole place. And it was interesting. Felt like I was back in Romania. I saw about that many of us there too, but it's not about the color of your skin. As Martin said, it's the content of your character. Can I get an amen? Yeah. So it was a good time for all. Thank you, Dr. Kent, for inviting me. I love it. And then I shopped this weekend for a new printer. I'm finally looking at what I do as a business. I know I kind of do, but yeah, I got myself a printer because I got tired of running 3 floors up to the printer. So did that. Not much else. What was your favorite highlight from this weekend? 1 word, 2 words, no more than 3. Drop them in the comments. We want to know. And at this point in the show, it's time to say good morning to my sidekick. She's been here all 8 years. This is Lucy McGillicuddy Ricardo, because y'all know I love me some Lucy. And the bell of purpose, you heard a ding. You're probably thinking, what kind of, what's going on there? No, not a show prop. Not a gimmick. It is a reminder. It's an opportunity, actually, because just like that bell has a ring to it, you guessed it, so does the truth. And I know we're busy, but we should never be so busy that we miss the truth. That's what we're here for. So if you're busy, flat ironing hair, feeding the baby, stuck in traffic, you hear that bell ring, tune in, lean in. There's something out there I don't want you to miss. My guest today, who is he? His name is, Roadruck. Have you ever, isn't that a cool name? Roadruck. Boy, if I'd have been in 7th grade with him, we'd have had fun with that name. Any excuse to cuss back then, right? What? I didn't say that. I said his name. To the office. Yeah, that was me and my crew out in the hallway in the principal's office. But look at us today, right? So Jeremy Roadruck is here. He lives in Florida. One reason to hate him. Well, if you're a Chicagoan, I mean, it's cold as a witch's. I can't say it because I won't get in trouble. Here in Chicago, but he's in Florida, and he's just done so many doggone things. I'm not kidding. Everything from being a 6th-degree kung fu master. I was trying to find that song. Everybody was kung fu fighting. Remember that? That was a good ass song. I'm not playing. Everybody know the words to that. Those kicks were fast as lightning. And what was it? And a little bit frightening. Told you. Good song. Good song. Should have won a Grammy. Super Bowl. By the way, I forgot to mention yesterday. Congratulations to who was it that won? I'm kidding. I almost said Chicago. The Kansas City Chiefs. Two-peat. And good. It was a good game. I popped into it. I was working yesterday. But I popped in a couple times, beat the San Francisco 49ers. So did you have a Super Bowl party or did you attend one? Put that in there. Interesting. So anyway, and here's another tidbit. He had his lung collapse twice. Who does that? Divers. I'm looking for some other stuff. Nope, can't talk about any of that yet. Anyway, there's a crap load. So I'm just going to get him in here. He's never been here before. So we're going to roll out the red carpet. That means put our virtual hearts on the screen, won't you? As we welcome our guest today, because here he comes, Jeremy Roadruck. What the Roadruck? Hey, Jeremy, what's up, man?
Good morning. Yeah, the D and the F key are right next to each other on the keyboard, so that leaves things fun for last names.
Ooh, I bet. But I'm saying, I know people love interchanging or rhyming your name.
Yup. Yeah, they love me. I was in the Army, and so yeah. Hey, Roadruck, high speed, get out in front. Why don't you lead the ruck, Roadruck? Like, they just hammered the crap out of that. Like that got so old within like the first, 2 days.
But I did not see in your file that they gave me to study up on you. Did you say you were in the Army?
Yes, sir. I was in the Army Reserve, 12 Bravo, combat engineer. So this is the job right here. This is the job. Just pounding pickets. That's the job.
You weren't in the Air Force?
No, my dad was Air Force. My grandfather was Army, and I was Army.
But you were Army. Okay, I'm sorry. Bye-bye. So, sorry, y'all. I'm prior Air Force. Can't have that shit up in here. I'm sorry. Not while I'm eating my wheat checks.
I'm just saying. You can hang out if you want. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I love doing that to Army people. I won't do it to a Marine, though, because they'll be at your house in 10 minutes calling you outside. Come outside for a minute.
That's right.
So
That's
anyway,
right. They don't play.
listen, your bio is as extensive as my robe collection. So I said, well, you know what? I can let him show them better than I can tell them. So I'm going to dip out for about 60 seconds and let you just create your own vibe. It's a little thing I do with the guests. And then I'll pop back in and we'll officially get started because I got some. I'm just letting you know. Don't be offended. I got a lot of questions today because I love your work. I love your work, but with the relationship and all that, you got a lot of great stuff out there. But I felt kind of left out, and I'll tell you why when you get back. If you stay.
Oh yeah, totally staying.
Take it away. It's all you.
Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, good evening, whatever the day finds you. My name is Jeremy Roadruck. I am the only me in the entire internet. There's only about 300 Roadrucks on the planet, so that makes it a whole lot easier. And yeah, I'm a guy, done a bunch of stuff. I think we'll get into that. Kung Fu master, author, hypnotherapist, neurostrategist, factory worker, Renaissance Festival worker, but also lived in a tent, also filed bankruptcy, also got kicked out of where I was living. After my second lung collapse and the end of a 5-year relationship, she needed space, which that is a whole big conversation. And I will make a promise to you. I'll never say I'm right and I'll never say you're wrong, but I will say when you're right and I'll take ownership when I am wrong. And I'm here to serve and add value to the world around me. In my life, I've found a lot of heartache and a lot of pain and a lot of pressure and a lot of suffering. But I've also found a lot of joy and a lot of playfulness and a lot of encouragement. The thing I want to just leave this introduction with is this: it's all games and it's all stories. So let's play.
Okay. Okay. You're talking my language there. Now, you know I eat on this show, so.
You're fine.
Okay, and I don't have any bananas. I wish I had a banana on my wheat checks. But anyway, so we're going to get into the relationship stuff. But first, I got to find out what is this thing with 2 lung collapses?
Yeah, tall, thin guys sometimes have what's called a spontaneous pneumothorax, which is your lung broke and we don't know why. Yay.
You're tall?
Yeah, 5'11", 5'12". Yeah, so
for
6
somebody
feet.
like me, yeah, that's tall.
Yep.
Really?
And they were just, yeah, you get what are called adhesions or blebs. Blebs is like the little like the ballooning of a tire kind of thing. And so sometimes you have the lung itself, which is essentially wet saran wrap, and then you have the pleura, which is a sac around your lung, and then there's the chest cavity. And you can get adhesions, you can get attachment points. Something popped, and I actually was walking around 16 days with my lung 80% collapsed.
Oh, so you didn't know?
No, I had this weird cough, and they did an ultrasound, and it looked like the pleura was moving. Always get an X-ray. I will tell you that. If you guys suspect you blew a lung, always get an X-ray because they knew, like, immediately they
Who's
saw
gonna think of that? Girl, you know what? My right side, and there's that little cough. I don't know. I better check. I might have blown a lung. Who's gonna think that?
Well, having done it twice, what I will say is it feels like somebody is reaching up inside your chest and they're just grabbing you on the inside and squeezing. And it kind of like feels like a bruise and it kind of feels like a muscle thing and it kind of hurts.
Were you winded because you're working on half a cylinder?
Yeah. Well, I was teaching. I do a falling safely workshop in the fall because I in the winter because I lived up in Ohio and my mom fell and had some trauma with that. And so I was teaching falling workshops with a collapsed lung, and I could teach those just fine, but I couldn't do a hop. So I'm teaching martial arts. You do a little switch with your footwork. You do a little hop. Oh, okay. And then like literally the first time, like every 30 seconds to 3 minutes, I would bark and cough. It was like I sounded like a seal. And it was air escaping from my chest, and it was completely involuntary. And I had moms in the school. They're like, "You have whooping cough," and they're like all trying to diagnose me. And so 16 days, I was like that. And then the girl I was dating at the time, we were being silly, and she like kind of like hit me in the chest, and I about collapsed. And I'm never like that. And so that was, let's go back to the hospital. Let's get an X-ray. I only did the ultrasound. Let's do the X-ray. And they were like, "Yeah, you're 80% collapsed. You could have died at any time in the last 16 days."
Wow. Did
Yeah.
it hurt?
No. Like
See?
it just you wince a little bit and
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't feel right. And then the second time it happened, I was like, "Oh, I know that feeling. I gotta go to the hospital." And the girl I was dating at the time was really irritated about how inconvenienced she was. So
Mm-hmm.
I drove myself to the hospital, and there's a reason that relationship failed like 6 days later.
Mm. Oh, well, thank you for sharing that. That helps. So you guys, there you go. Don't diagnose the things yourselves. Go and get a check. Get that X-ray. Let's
Absolutely.
move on. I want to ask you. Okay, here we go. So I'm in my 8th year here, and over the years, 5 days a week, 50 weeks a year, I've interviewed a lot of people, and from time to time, I have a guy on here and I love it because they're so interesting. Guys who specialize in helping guys, with their masculine this and relationship that and da da da. But I'm gonna keep it real with you. Most of them that I've dealt with, real ass hats. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. I'm like, dude, no wonder you can only work with men.
Yeah.
If I come through that screen, right, that sort of thing. So I'm gonna ask you,
Yeah.
were you the guy that really used to not be so good at relationships, and that's kind of how you got to this point of being an authority on it for men to help
Yeah.
them get out of their own bro culture way?
Yeah. So for me, I actually lived in my feminine for a really long time,
Me
and
too. I'm still in there. Hey,
it's all good. But there's people pleasing. There's earning the right to love. There's like a lack of self worth. There's all this other stuff, like being in your feminine, being in your masculine.
what does that mean? Somebody's
Like,
wondering what the hell does he mean by that?
yeah. So here's how I would break it down. Like number one, let's look at masculine and feminine and take those titles away and call it right brain, left brain.
Okay.
Left brain is more dialed in, delete all the unessentials. The left brain can only handle 5 to 9 points of data at a time before it starts looping. The right side of our brain, infinite storage, infinite recall, music, songs, stories, everything connected together. The left brain, everything is cut apart and separated. And so maybe what we call masculine and feminine, maybe that's really more about like using right brain versus using left brain. And some people can move between the two, right? So you figuring out how to be authentically yourself and whatever that constellation is, that's the best, right? It's not about, oh, you have to be this way and limit and cut off. And it's not, you have to be this way and everything is open 24/7 all the time to everything. You can throttle back and forth between the two. And so I had some bad stuff happen to me at 5 and 6 that took me kind of out of how most people grow up. And 6 years old, back against the wall, like I'm watching everything everywhere, all the
So what you're
entrances, all
talking
the
about
exits.
abuse?
Yeah. I had some bad stuff happen. I had a security guard do some bad things at 5, and then some kids up the street at 6. So I can't
So
trust
why
adults
did
to
you
pay
put it
attention to
like
kids.
that? Why did you
Just
put it like some bad things? That means, you could have been in a bike accident
yeah,
or bullied on the playground, but why didn't you just say I was sexually abused? What's that? What's up with that?
because I don't know who's listening. I don't know where they are in their recovery or their process. So I don't want to push anything in their direction. So I leave it kind of general because not everybody has worked through stuff that they've got that they're carrying with them. Right. And that's what I call the existential wound, right? Is most of us have stuff happen that we couldn't understand or couldn't explain. And then we make ourselves wrong for it.
But isn't that why we talk about it with each other? I think it's like this. I think how we approach things should be based on how diligent we've been in finding or creating those safe spaces.
Oh, 100%. And
Right.
I like to ease into it versus just, oh yeah, you want to talk about the time that the kid did the thing and I did the thing. Like we can go, I've dealt with all of this. So I'm in a great place with myself.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm like,
So you
but I
did. You had
realized,
that real.
yeah,
Because
where
I
I'm
think
at's not
people
where everyone
need to
is.
know what makes a person credible.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Why should I listen to you? What do you know? You
Mhm.
know what I'm saying? Because I
Yeah.
mean, I of course had it, and most of us have, and that's the thing with a lot of men and that machismo and bro
Mhm.
culture. They don't want to admit these things. They think they've done something wrong. They keep burying it
Yep.
and walking around with a big cloak of shame on while they beat their chest. yo, bro.
Oh yeah,
You know,
yeah.
so that's
That's the
why I brought it up.
warrior. That's like the warrior protecting the boy, right? So the way I work with my clients, I have a roadmap, and we talk about number one is the inner child. Because if your inner child doesn't feel safe, that's why you have the guys that are the a-holes, because they're overcompensating to protect their inner child. So they've got to become so big and so strong and so unassailable. You can't get past me. I'm so big and it's like, cool, let it go. Because if you
Mhm.
are power, you don't need to flex. You don't need to tell people. It's like saying I have a hand. You don't walk around going, dude, I have hands, man. You just use your hands. So if you are power, you are it and you express it and you don't think about it. It's invisible. It's when
Mhm.
people have to flex, they have to tell you. It's like the people, young wealth, and they got to flex the roll and they got to show you all the things they buy, versus old money is like, yeah, whatever, I don't care. Like I just want to live my life. And so it's that need to flex, or that need to make sure that you know that I have the thing. If you are the thing, just do the thing. It's all
Okay,
good.
can I ask a question?
Of course.
Excuse me. You
Your
guys are
show.
almost over my New York cold, so pray for
Ugh.
me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oof. All those port cities, San Francisco, anywhere in California and Miami, get me every time. Let me ask you something, because you have no shortage of resources out there for men.
Mhm.
And I was quite intrigued. I always am, especially we'll get to it, but that reignite the passion cheat sheet, that sort of thing.
Mhm.
I thought that was really cool. We'll get to that. But I want to ask you something. Now, you knew coming in here, because we had a pre-call and everything. Now, you knew you were coming on the show of an LGBTQ man, right?
Mhm.
A member of the LGBTQ community.
Yep.
So good. So I'm sure you expected what that I would ask. Why is it? Like when we started a few minutes ago, you were like, you had no problem saying, yeah, I lived in the feminine, this, that, and the other, and da da da, which is I'm like, great. And I said, oh yeah, me too. Hey, I did that on purpose because
Mhm.
I wanted to ask you something. When you're working and you're putting this stuff out there and stuff, does it miss you that you say da 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 da? Like for instance, you say love the lives and how to and their wives. Well,
Right.
I don't have a wife.
Yep.
I have a husband.
Yep.
So, and I was with you all the way up till the seat fell off the merry-go-round.
Right, right.
The horse came off, just galloped right on out of the park.
Mhm.
So let me ask you, is there any reason why it's so? I get it. You're heterosexual. And when I'm hanging with my homeboys, we call y'all breeders, right? Yeah, them damn breeders. Ooh, that's a hot breeder. You know what I mean? Right, right, right. So, but I'm just curious. Do you have an issue with? Okay, so is this stuff? Does it work for anybody? Because
Yes.
I'm just saying it because oftentimes I'll pick. It's not just you. I'm not picking on you, just
Oh
you.
no,
But
yeah, yeah.
I sound like remember that book a few years ago, something something girl, and I read that book and it was great. But
Yeah, yeah.
every time she made it sound like it only applied to a woman, it made me feel like I had a face with no features on it. Like all of a sudden
Mhm.
I became so I'm going to ask you this.
Yeah.
Do you ever think you will get to the point where you are comfortable enough to bring up that? And listen, it says wife or it says girlfriend, but this is
Right,
for
right.
anybody that
It
has a
is.
significant other. Talk about
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. And I have to play in, because in marketing and your mouth, you can only say one thing at a time, even if you think more stuff or you're aware of more stuff. And if I put too much context or too much awareness, it drags everything out and it makes everything. So sometimes it's from a positioning point of view or marketing point of view, I'm putting in a certain language because I'm talking to a specific audience. But
That's what I'm asking.
yeah,
So
yeah,
that made me feel like, oh, I'm not his audience. Do you
right.
consciously do that or?
It's not conscious. It's more about where is this going to go out, and that's kind of like my blanket statement is helping husbands with their wives, right? Because but once we start talking, it's like, well, what's really going on? Because for me, it's about that polarity conversation.
Yeah.
Because a man, right? I'll put it this way: polarity is different from your pokey in parts and pokey out parts. Right. And people get so caught up in people with pokey in parts must X and people with pokey out parts must Y. And it's like, there's a
Okay.
lot of flexibility in that. Don't get so stuck on it.
Perfect.
Because the
And
polarity is you could have, a male identifying person who is 100% in their feminine and they're heterosexual or they're homosexual or there's
Right.
something in between. Like
Perfect.
it's all correlation's not causation, but like we got to get into the conversation in a lot of cultural
To
framework.
get something out of the conversation. And
Exactly.
I just wanted to see, I'm gonna tell you why that was serving two different worlds from my seat.
Mhm.
To see how you were put on the spot and how you dug through
Navigate
it,
it.
but
Mhm.
also for the LGBTQ community, because a lot of times they expect everything to, no, 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 no. What about that? And I'm like,
Right.
look, come on now. Sometimes you have to just, I know when they talk about people, like when they say all men are created equal, they didn't say, I didn't have to hear the word black or African American. I know when it applies to me. If it fits me, it's good for me.
Right.
If it doesn't, I leave it alone. Period.
Right.
So I want to get that out there because I really think these conversations bode and are much healthier when we know that we see each other
Right.
as people, and just leave it at that. And now
Exactly.
let's talk about the crux of what this work is really all about. So there it is, y'all. Because I didn't want y'all to think as we went down the road, man, Lauren talking like, boom, boom, boom. No, I wasn't. This is how we had to
Yeah.
get there. So let's go there. Let's go to the first thing.
Well, can I share something with you real quick?
Of course.
Well, I did. So a couple of years ago, there was a lesbian couple that was attacked on the bus in the UK, and a friend of mine in Ohio is Michael. He runs an organization, Have a Gay Day, and they've got millions of
Ooh.
people following them on Facebook. He's an awesome guy. I'd love to get you two connected. Just to throw that out
Please.
right now,
Okay.
but I did this. I offered through him. I was like, "Hey, I'd love to offer a self-defense seminar for the LGBTQ plus community for free." Blah blah blah. And so we did that. I had some friends that were in the media who put it out, and I had a bunch of people get really defensive and like, "Oh, why is it this, that, and the other?" So I went back to every single person on social media and I engaged with them. And I said, "No, actually, I do offer these for free for everyone all the time. This is a specific audience. I have others. When would you like to come attend?" And I
See.
had some old lady that got mad about whatever, and I engaged with her, and she actually apologized for misunderstanding
Right.
because it was
See,
like, this is a service that I offer. Everyone has a right to feel safe in their own skin, in their own house, in their own community. And if they don't, we need to learn how to not be aggressive. We need to learn how to assert our own boundaries, respect other people's boundaries, but it's also creating our own emotional safety. And
exactly.
most people don't know what to do if a bad thing were to happen. Okay, let's figure that out. So if someone's offering you physical violence, do you have the ability to say no thank you and give it back to them, or introduce them
Right.
to the wall? Like, here, meet the floor and have a nice life and I'll see you later, bye. And and so it was like that. To your point exactly, it's seeing each other as people. And so I understand sometimes I'll have people that are like defensive on either side, and I'm like, no, I get it, because it's a world you don't understand, or it's a world you haven't
Mm-hmm.
experienced,
Mm-hmm.
or it seems unfair.
Mm-hmm.
Let's explore that. Well, what really
Love it.
is fair? Because it's a big conversation, and there's a lot of history you might not be aware of. And I don't profess to be a mouthpiece or a spokesperson at all. I'm still learning and growing as well, because
Right.
it's a big, big world out there, y'all.
And I just want to say this because thank you. I knew you would I just knew it, Jeremy, honestly. I knew that you would be able to hold your own as we move through those murky waters. And I think I want to just say hats off to you for that. Because I've done, y'all know, over the years, because sometimes I have a guest on here as a setup. I just want to I just want to sell. Ah, explain this. Run that footage.
Oh, shiz.
Excuse me. But I want to say this. I think it's important. That was a big piece that I could bring that to him. You didn't see his pulse didn't change, his eyes didn't shift, he didn't start squirming in his seat. Okay, so that's my point in that is this to you guys. When you're in front of somebody and you think that they're so far left or far right, find out. Use your own self to set the compass due north and then see where it goes from there. You see what I'm saying? Don't be afraid. And so thank you for that. Now let's get into it. I want to start with this roadmap. Well, first of all, another thing that I found really exciting about you over on your website, you said, I think I can't get 35. You work with men 35 to 60.
60.
60.
60.
60. 60. 60. 60. 60. 60. 60. 60. 60. 60. 60. 60. 60. 60. 60. 60. 60. 60. 60. 60. 60. 60. 60. 60. 60. 60. 60. 60. 60. 60. 60. 60. 60. 60. 60. 60. 60. 60. 60. 60. 60. 60. 60. 60. 60. 60. 60. 60. 60. 60. 60. 60. 60. 60. 60. 60. 60. 60. 60. 60. 60. 60. 60. 60. 60. 60. 60. 60. 60. 60. 60. 60. 60. 60. 60. 60. 60. 60. 60. 60. 60. 60. 60. 60. 60. 60. 60. 60. 60. 60. 60. 60. 60. 60. 60. 60. 60. 60. 60. 60. 60. 60. 60. 60. 60. 60. 60. 60. 60. 60. 60. 60.
Yep.
60,
60, 65. Yeah.
65.
Mhm.
How did you end up with that demographic?
Because for guys or for the masculine, there are phases. There is the prince who's kingdom building, and that's usually after marriage or after, early 20s to like mid 30s, sometimes early 40s. Princes are compulsed. They have to build a kingdom. They have to work. They can't not. And it's not about, do you love me more, or if you cared about us more, and all this. There's all this manipulation that happens, and that's not the case. But what happens is, as a masculine person is moving through that phase, that prince, they hit a point where, why am I doing this? What was all this for? And they fall into a gulf, a tunnel, an existential crisis, and a lot of questions and a lot of doubt and a lot of insecurity and a lot of confusion. And this is where the whole, midlife crisis stuff comes up and the marriage falls apart. Well, yeah, the marriage falls apart because dude's been working the last 12, 15 years, and his work has been his priority, and the kingdom has been the priority. And so, yeah, his wife is resentful, or the feminine is resentful. His kids are resentful. They're going off to college. They're growing up. They don't need him anymore. And then they're looking at each other as like, oh, we're strangers. Why are we even together? And so the marriage falls apart. There's a window in there that he can take ownership, and he can apologize, and he can transform his relationship. And so that generally starts around 35. The other thing I did is I did a bunch of marketing message testing where I was putting out certain phrases, and where I naturally gravitate tends to be the guys in the late 30s, early 40s. That's where they raise their hand and go, "Oh no, I'm there." And guys in their 20s are like, "Whatever, that's not going to happen to me." Like, "Oh, no, my kids are young, my wife is young, my marriage is young, everything's great." And it's like, nah, seeds are being planted, right? I just talked to a guy a week ago, and his business, he went solo, hit 35K a month in his new business for the first 3 months. He's like, I can do this. But now his wife is like, I don't know you anymore. I don't know that I love you anymore for Christmas. And they're not divorced. They can still laugh and they can still have fun together. But he's in his mid 20s. The cracks are showing. And if he buries himself in work where he knows he can win, because with his wife, it's scary, it's uncertain, it's a lot of his self-worth gets muddy fast in that context. But work, I can win. His instinct is to go bury himself in work, and he's 20 something, so now he's 37ish, and his marriage falls apart unexpectedly. Like, nah, dude, I saw the seeds back when you were 25 when we talked. If you take action now, there won't be an end, because you can grow and navigate through these seasons. And yeah, work can be a compulsion, and you can manage that compulsion so that you are present and playful and powerful in your family. And so that's why that skews a little bit older. And then usually I work with dads, because once a man has children, his life isn't about himself. It's about this legacy. And that's really the key I'm looking for, is that the guy that has a sense of mission, a sense of purpose, a sense of vision. I'm built for something, and I know it. And how do I manage all this? It's
Do
scary.
a lot of these guys, Jeremy, do you find that the way that they deal inside their relationships, not just after marriage, but all the way through the courtship process and everything, how much of, just, I'm sure I'm just asking your opinion, a guesstimate, if you will, how much of their behavior do you feel is learned? Like, they're doing it like their dad did it, or they're looking for the relationship they saw their parents have, that sort of thing. Because we hear the thing where people say, "Yep, she looks for a guy who is like her father, or he looks for a woman who is like his mother," that sort of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
So how much of that is accurate in your opinion?
I would say about 50 to 60% of that, because what's normal in our family situation, like chemically, like, what I mean is, my parents fought a lot. My parents didn't, but in this story, my parents fought a lot, and there was a lot of tension, a lot of jealousy, and then my mom would do this and this, and she would be passive and manipulate my dad. And so, growing up in that chemistry, it's like, oh, if I don't have tension in my love affair, it's not real. There needs to be that adrenaline and that uncertainty. And if we're not making each other jealous, then we don't really love each other.
Yeah,
This is too vanilla. It's too easy. It's
yeah.
too comfortable. I don't deserve this. I need someone who's going to yell at me like my dad yelled at me. And it's like, some of that stuff gets embedded. And so there's probably 50 to 60%, but there's also, the way testosterone hits our brain and develops it, the way estrogen hits our brain and develops it, there's something to be said about brain chemistry and how that also, the human animal side also pushes on us. And so I would say it's like a 60-40. 60% our minds and our life experience, and then 40% kind of the genetic drive inside the physiology of our body.
Yeah. What about this one? This is one. You see this in every show, every movie, somewhere in the storyline of most novels that have a romance inside or something like that. What I'm getting at is the double standard thing. A lot of guys, the infidelity part. Guys somehow think it's okay that if they went and slipped off to the other side of town, and as long as I'm taking care of my family and it's not out on Front Street, it's a part of being a guy. But let a woman slip over to the other side, all of a sudden she's the worst whore you could ever have, you could ever see, even when it comes to the forefront in relationships. Did you hear Tiffany cheated on Chad? That slut. Did you hear Chad cheated on Tiffany? Oh, I hope they get over that and make it. You know what I'm saying? That sort of thing. So let me ask you that. Is that something that is changing inside of the marriage dynamic? What are you hearing from guys? Do they admit to you? I kind of get the feeling that in your work, you kind of become like a confidant for a lot of these guys. Yes or no?
Yeah, that is messy because I have worked with couples, I've worked with women, I've worked with men. Anybody operating out of a sense of entitlement, anybody operating out of a sense of obligation, they will justify and rationalize the most ridiculous stuff. And the fundamental is their needs aren't being met. And they don't know or they don't believe that their partner will meet their needs. So I'm just going to take care of it myself and I don't care. And it's like anybody operating in that right there is the source of the problem, right? And then the cultural piece of it, I think that is moving around because there's a lot of normalization now of like get your needs met and a lot more of you deserve to be happy kind of message. And I think women are hearing that message more and more now, and they're willing to step out or they're willing to get their stuff on the side or whatever the case. And I personally, that's not a game that I want to play. It's not a game I want my kids to play. It's like, no, be honest with your partner. Like, if this is working, awesome. If it's not, awesome. Thank you for telling me where you're at. Can we work this out together? If not, also awesome. Thank you for stepping out of my life and go and find somebody else. Like, so many people put their identity into, no, you're my XYZ, right? When I went through my breakup, I was in the most misery for like 2 years.
Which one?
The 5-year one that failed. I collapsed.
You've been married how many times? Just for the
married once,
okay.
But I was in a 5-year relationship. I planned on marrying her. I was that Prince Kingdom building, that 7.5-foot pocket door in the martial arts school. Yeah, that was her wedding ring. I used to joke about it because, like, whatever, making light of something that was kind of serious.
Right.
But when that relationship ended, like, I came out of the hospital 6 days. She says she needs space, and all that went down.
That's a good one. You know what that means.
Yeah. That's the Chris Rock. Got it in the glass, and she's gonna break that glass. Yeah. And she keeping you around just in case it don't work out. She knows she has a backup.
Exactly.
Like, I was a backup. I'll own that. But when I went through that breakup for 2 years, I was emotionally dead inside, and I was really bitter. And any person that had her name hated them automatically because I was just so in my wound, and I was so just built this life, and how dare you, and all this stuff. But then that song came out, somebody that I used to know. And one time I was talking about the situation of somebody inventing, and instead of saying my ex-girlfriend, ownership, entitlement, I said this girl I used to date. Oh my God. Like, I just felt this shift, and I'm 2 feet taller all of a sudden because wait, why am I still holding on to this person who obviously doesn't want to be with me? Yeah, we weren't married. I mean, I wanted to, but no, we just dated for 5 years. So yeah, it's just a girl I used to date. And then it rolled out to somebody I used to know, and it's just more emotional distance. I'm not bitter about it anymore. I'm not defensive. Now I appreciate what I went through because it makes me appreciate my wife for not being her. Like, you're not that past relationship, babe. So when my wife is stressed, I'm like, hey, honey, you don't need to judge yourself. Like, I think you're amazing, and I've had a bad relationship. This is nothing like that. Right. Not to make that wrong. Just I learned.
Right.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of guys who are good guys, nicest guy you'd ever want to meet, and they have that trophy woman who
Mhm.
is me, all about me. And they demasculate men.
Mhm.
There are a group of women. There is a certain, that lane. And I think about, let's talk about that, because on your website, you said right after, the age thing,
Mhm.
you described the type of man, the ones who are tired of being disrespected.
Right.
And what else?
Disrespected and ignored to
And
cherish and adore.
ignored. Talk about what that means. Who is that guy? What does that look like?
That is a guy who knows the rules of work, and he knows how to win in business, and he knows how to serve his clients, and he knows how to produce, and he knows how to perform out there. And then when he comes home,
Mm,
he just wants a happy, peaceful home life. And so what does that typically end up happening is he placates his wife, he people pleases, yes, dear, whatever you want, dear, because part of it he feels guilty for working as much as he does. And yeah, we take the vacations, and yeah, we take the da 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 da, but it's never enough for her because he's winning in things that don't actually matter to her at her deepest level. She doesn't feel like a priority. She doesn't feel like she matters. She knows that she's second fiddle to work. She knows that she's not his priority. So she has to do these patterns of quote unquote temper tantrums to make him focus on her.
right.
And there's much better ways to get those needs met. And so what I do is I teach the guys, here's how to read that feminine storm so that you catch it before she ever
Mm,
has to go to that place.
that
Because you see
feminine
her starting to
storm.
escalate, or she's wanting your attention. Dude, she can't disrespect you without your permission. Like, she can only tell you where she's at, what she's feeling, what she needs. Are you paying attention? Because if you're not, she's going to escalate. Any person would.
And some women cheat just to get the attention.
Hmm. Yeah, I didn't feel the chemistry. I didn't feel the flow. And and some people think chemical attraction to another human being is love. And it's like,
Hmm.
well, no,
Hmm.
it
Hmm.
means like you could make great babies together. Or it means that the two of you, there's a passion and an impact there. Doesn't mean aligned vision and values. Doesn't mean that there's a team fit. Doesn't mean a bunch of other stuff. But it's just to realize that zing of chemistry and go, dang, that person's got some amazing genetics for me.
Yeah. Hey,
And
let's role play real quick.
yeah, yeah.
Let's pretend I'm a client and I come in and I'm here because, listen, Jeremy, I keep hearing it over and over and over and over. And I did go through this. So I'm using a real example from my own marriage, where my husband would always say, it started with questions. Where were you just now? Where'd you go?
Hmm.
Where are you?
Hmm.
And I was like, what do you mean? I'm sitting right here across from you, doggone it. What are you talking about? But it was also this.
Yep.
What do you mean? I'm right. So let's talk about that.
Yeah,
How do
yeah.
you help people learn the art of being fully present?
Yeah, that's exactly it. What's the biggest gift you have to give?
Your
Is
time.
is presence. Not even time, because you can
Oh,
spend
that's
time,
true. You
but
could be
still
sitting
be
there and doing 100 other things.
on the phone scrolling. I don't feel like I connect with me.
Good point.
I want to know like what's going on. Like do you see me? And I have a training I go through called the 6 golden tickets. But the first piece of that is, do you see me? Do you hear me? Do you feel me? Do you
Sorry,
understand?
I'm a Willy Wonka fan. It's all around here. There's
Yeah.
Mike TV back there, so I got to burst into song. I've got a golden ticket. Couldn't help it. It's my
No,
age.
you're fine. It's
You can't
fine.
say those words around me without me singing it.
But that's
Okay,
why
go
I
ahead.
do it, because this there's six. If you wanna like the result is I wanna give you support. I wanna connect with you.
Yeah.
But there's five things that have to be in place. Otherwise, your support is received as an attack,
And,
and they're
and
gonna
what are
fight
those
back.
things?
So number one is, do you see me? Right? Do I see you? Do I notice the things you're doing?
Papa, do you see me?
Right?
Sorry, y'all. I'm out there now.
No,
It's
you're
a
good.
song.
You're
I'm-
good. I like show tunes. It's all good. Right?
Okay, good. There's one.
Yeah.
Okay, do you see me?
Right? Do you see me? Do you hear me?
Wait, who's asking these?
It's both. It's I want to make sure I see you.
Okay.
Right? Because I can't control what you give me. I can control what I give you. And if I give you
Mm,
first, then I
mm,
know you have it to give back. If I
mm,
demand it from you, but I don't know if you have it.
mm-hmm,
Right? So,
mm-hmm.
like, most basic thing, I want to help you feel warm, big, and happy first. Because if I can help you feel warm, big, and happy, now you've got that inside to flow back to me if you're a giver. If you don't flow it back, that's cool too, because now I know where you're at and what you're dealing with, and I know where to keep you in relation to myself and not expect, right? Not get caught up in patterns of hurt feelings because they're just not there. You can't give me
Okay.
approval if you don't approve of yourself,
Okay. So do you see me?
right? So do you see me? Do you hear me? Do I hear you? Am I hearing what you're telling me? I hear the words, but am I getting the meaning behind the words? What is your heart saying? So the where are you when I'm right on the couch next to you? Oh, well, what is their heart saying in that where are you? It's are we touching? Are we really sharing our lives together, or are we just cohabitating? Right? So see here. Next is feel. Do I feel? Do I feel like you're connected to me? Do I feel like we're a part of this? Or do I feel like we're a team? Do I feel like we're flowing together? Do I feel like we're a part of each other's lives? Or are we apart in each other's lives? And then number 4 is, do you understand me? And if even if it's I don't fully understand you, at least I have a glimmering of a clue, right? I can't say I understand what you're going through. I've been in similar places, so
Yeah.
I might have a bit of an idea, but I'd love for you to tell me more, and I'd love to understand more about what's going on for you. And if you offer that to your partner, they're gonna be like, "Don't understand me. What the hell's the matter with you?" They're gonna be like, "Well, it's about time you paid attention to me," and then they unload. Right? So see, hear, feel, think. See, hear, feel, understand. And then the bridge is appreciation. And this
Mm.
is what fries guys noodles. I'm like, wait, wait, wait. So she's mad at you and she's bitching at you and she's telling you, okay, cool. And they're like, what do you mean cool? She cares that you know what she's thinking, what she's feeling, what she's going through. If she didn't care that you knew, she wouldn't tell you. Everything would be fine and it would be flat affect and she would have nothing else to say to you and
She
everything's
wants
fine.
access to him. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So the fact she's upset, appreciate the fact she's telling you because that's something you can work with. And so it's also hard to judge somebody else when you're appreciating them.
Yeah.
And then that's where you build your influence. That's where you build aligning vision and values. That's where you build rapport is I don't know that I fully agree with blah, 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 but God, I felt like that before. I know that feeling and you have I'm so sorry I made you feel that way. That was never my intention. What can I do
Mhm.
to make this right?
Mhm.
And now I can offer support in a way that's going to land because I've disarmed because you get me, and that's the see, hear, feel, understand, and then the appreciates the bridge, and now I can offer support. So if
Correct.
you're getting pushback, you're getting argument, you're getting attacked, then they don't feel fully understood, or they don't feel fully seen or heard. They don't that feedback is all it is. Because I offered support, they took it as an attack. Oh crap, they didn't feel something, or I didn't appreciate them, or they didn't feel understood or seen or heard or felt. So you go back into those other 5 to clean that up, because when you offer somebody support and they're available to you, they will receive it.
Mhm. Mhm.
And if they're not, then that's just feedback to change your approach. Not that you're right or wrong, not that they're right or wrong, but the two of you are miscuing and crashing. So then just make a small adjustment and then everything lines up. Cool.
Yeah.
Do you want to be
Yeah.
right or do you want to get results? Focus on the results.
Beautiful. Because here's a situation, another real life example coming up. Um, I in this house, I'm the one, I am like my ADHD and my desire to I don't like to go to bed with one thing not checked off my list. It's just
Hmm.
the way I am, right?
Hmm.
Always have been.
Hmm.
And my husband will I tell him, read the room. Can't you see I'm running from here to there? And I got that thing on the stove and I gotta go outside and get the trash bins and bring them in. And
Hmm.
that's when you see me running across the house to get to the other side, is when you decide you need a big, lengthy 35-40 second hug. And I mean, okay, I'll stop. Oh, hi, honey. And he'll latch on, like I just came
Yeah.
home from the war and I'm like, feel me pushing. Okay, honey, okay. Because we have a signal. I always say when he's gone past that line, I go, we all see it. We all see it, like that commercial. And that's how he knows to let go. It's almost like a safe word.
Right.
And but I feel horrible a lot of the time when I'm physically pushing
Right.
him away
Right. Right.
to
Right.
get back to what I was doing before. Number
Correct.
one, forget what I was doing, but
Right.
to get it done in a timely manner.
Hmm.
Talk about how important it is to be able to communicate what's really going on so that your partner does not misconstrue or
Hmm.
misinterpret your back meaning.
Yeah. So
Hmm.
fundamentally, you're not available for the hug because you are cluttered with other stuff, and that's not a judgment on your
It's
husband.
true. I get it.
Yeah. Well, you've got
But
that
who's
list.
wrong?
No, there's no wrong.
Oh,
You two have competing needs. Like he wants to physically connect with you, and his love language, physical touch. I want to connect with you.
very tactile.
And masculine's relationship to needs is immediate. Doesn't matter, man, woman. Masculine's relationship to needs is immediate. I have a need. I will satiate that need. I will address that need now. That's why there's no patience. It's like once the mind's made up, the action is taken. That's also why 10 divorced dads a day kill themselves here in the United States.
What was that?
10 divorced dads a day kill themselves in the United States. Because once they arrive at the conclusion, I'm the problem, I will solve the problem to make everyone else's life easier by just killing
Just let me
myself.
get out of the way.
Yeah. It's the ultimate protector. I'm the problem because I'm cut off to my kids. I'm weaponized by my woman. Whatever the case, or my partner. Whatever the case, everyone's life is better if I'm not here. And once he makes that conclusion, there's no
Oh,
convincing him otherwise, and he will take decisive action to end the problem because I'm the problem. His identity is
what are
interwoven.
the warning signs, Jeremy? Because I bet you've run across some of those. People headed that way, men headed that way.
There's a level of fatality or finality in the way he talks about things, and it's just like the hope is gone, and he's exhausted, and he'll talk about how tired he is a lot, and I'm tired of fighting, I'm tired of struggling.
Oh, I got chills
Right?
when you said
It's
that.
well, because he's running himself into a blind alley. It's a belief system, right? He's running himself into a recursive belief that just spins around. If you've ever seen, there's ants that they leave chemical trails, how they find things. But if you get a bunch of ants to circle, they'll get into a death loop, and they'll just spin and spin, and they'll chase this chemical signal of direction, and they'll walk this path until they just die of exhaustion. And
Mm,
that's what happens is these guys get locked in. So real quick sidebar, in the United States, you can call 988 anytime 24/7 for mental and emotional support. It is free.
that's right.
Um, and I always, whenever people post about mental health stuff, I'm always like, and in the United States, you can call 988. They simplified 911 physical emergency, 988 mental emotional emergency. So just so that's
Perfect.
out there. Um,
Beautiful.
but basically though, with you and your husband, you're in a competition for getting your needs met, and he's more just physically assertive of just like "Rrr." But then you're also asserting a boundary back out. Okay, good, I'm fulfilled, good, thank you, I got to get this done. and so
Right.
and so really it's the two of you coming in and say, hey honey, I love when you touch me, and I love your hugs. You're such a big bear of a man, and I feel so safe and so protected. I would love to be more available to you. Would that be okay with you? Because now you're describing his win. You would be more available to me? Yeah, you could hug me for like 2 minutes. Oh my God, that would be heaven to him. Okay, cool. But the thing is, for me to be fully available to that, when it's time for bed, my brain runs through a checklist of things that got to get done. And
Mhm.
and if I'm full of my checklist, then there's only this much room for a hug. But if I'm empty of my checklist, there's this much room for a hug.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
I'm going to write my list down. Could you help me to get my list killed? And then I would
Well,
be more
oh,
available.
that's a great idea.
Yeah.
And he offers that kind of stuff all the time. Honey, is there anything I can do to
Yeah.
help? And I'll be
Yeah.
like, no,
Well, and
because
that's
I don't want to feel like I can't make everything on my list disappear or something's wrong with me. I'm
yeah,
losing
yeah.
my mojo.
Yeah, no, that's the masculine. I don't have, I don't know, I don't. Your process is amazing and it's fantastic, and I do not understand it. Just tell me the outcome, and I will help. Tell me where I can be useful.
Mhm.
If you take a masculine and a feminine person and have them do a task, and you put the masculine person in the support role, what can I do? What can I get you? What do you need? Like task, 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 triangle, triangle, triangle. For the feminine person in a support role, do you need more light? How about some music? Are you comfortable? Is the air good? It's experiencing in the fullness of the process,
Mhm.
right? The feminine person doesn't go to task, task, task. They go to what's the overall experience? How could it be more enjoyable? It's the circle. It's this openness. And the masculine is a triangle. Let's penetrate the bullshit, get this thing done, and get it done. And so because of that, you'll get that the feminine person's leading, and the masculine's like, what can I do? And the feminine's like, I don't know, I got it, I'm taking care of it. Because the feminine person has this whole big list of things and sequences, and they have to happen in a certain order, and it's easier and simpler because I just know to do it, let me do it. And the masculine person's like, but I want to help. And then the feminine person's like, but you're going to do it wrong, and then I have to go back and fix it. So
Right.
it's not a help.
Right. Hey, can we talk about date nights?
Mhm.
And how important do you have that in your relationship? Do you have something in place?
Yes, 10 to 14 days. Every 10 to 14 days, my wife needs a date where she gets a little kooky. And
Yeah.
she knows it. Like she calls it out.
Yeah.
She's like, I need a date night.
I'm really proud of the fact that when we decided we needed to make more time specifically for us, that no matter what, and then we want other people, we invited a few friends to go with us. And it was, we took up bowling.
Hmm.
And now we both have balls and shoes and this, and the other. And we know
Nice.
all the people and it's Friday nights and we go and we have our little burgers at the cafe there and, go to our lane and we know, hey, Jim, hi, Becky, that sort of thing.
Hmm.
And what I find is so good about it is my husband can count on it
Hmm.
happening.
Hmm.
And it's really important, but we had to really, and not just whenever it happens. For us, it needed to be Friday night, 6:00, we're out the door.
Right.
And so do you have any suggestions for people on how to find what is a litmus test that you need to create a space that has boundaries where the two of you meet?
Right. So
Like a clubhouse or something,
yeah,
a secret fort or hideout where just you
perfect.
two go.
Perfect. See that right there? You just gave a context or a frame. It's like this is our secret fort. This is our secret base. And so there is there's the date night, just you and me. Like we have Autumn and I go on a date, my wife.
Oh, I love
And
her name.
yeah, Autumn like the season. Force of nature.
Yeah,
Force of nature,
I
100%.
love it. I bet.
Yeah. Oh, it's amazing.
Gotta be deal with you.
It's amazing. So there's the two of us. A boy likes a girl likes a boy, just out
Mhm.
doing stuff. Then there's like a family date day where we take the kids and we go do stuff, and then we'll do stuff like individually with the kids as well, stepson and daughter. But then we also have stuff we'll do with friends, and so it's like you have these different flavors of experiences,
Mhm.
and then it's up to you and your partner how much certainty, how much consistency, how much structure do we need around this. And it's not no fault, no blame, no guilt, no shame. It's
Yeah.
what's going to make you thrive. This would make me thrive the most. Cool. Let's schedule that. And so we,
Jeremy, I'm sorry, because of the time, I
oh
don't
yeah,
want you to forget. I don't want to forget to let them know about the book
oh yeah,
and
yeah,
the free, the not free, but the signed copy.
yeah, yeah.
Where do they get that again? I
Uh,
have it.
we'll have to put the link in the show notes. I have it's
Is it
leadlikeaking.com
which
slash.
one is it?
It's a big long URL. There's a signed.
Okay, will you put it in the comment section?
Yeah, let me pull it up on my. I should be able to get it on my phone.
No, look, like after.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah,
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 and then they
yeah,
can
yeah.
go in and
Perfect.
get it.
Perfect. Yeah. So here's the deal, guys. Just real quick. This is called Your Best Child Ever. Is This Game Worth Winning? The only parenting book with a money back guarantee.
Right.
And the key of this whole entire thing is I explain in the first part about how to create win-win games and how to define right here, right there. Boom. How do you define on page 39? How do you define a game? What are the three variables that are out of your control and what is the one that is in your control? This is how you create win-win games that we both get to feel warm, big, and happy. How do we both thrive? Right. And so it's what do you need to be at your best and how can I meet you there? And then here's what I need to be at my best. And if the two of us are playing that game with each other, nobody loses. And it's negotiation and not from a take from, it's an amplification. What do you need? Here's what I need. Here's what it looks like. Here's what it makes possible. Is there anything you need from me to give me what I would want? What I would want?
Absolutely.
Oh, hell yeah. Okay, so you need this. So like, there was a couple, and the husband works in a factory, works on his feet all day long, comes
Mhm, mhm.
home hot, greasy, nasty. And so it's like, what would he love to have? I would love to come home and I would love to have a beer and just sit on the couch for like 10 minutes and don't talk to me. That would be heaven. What would you need from me to do that? He asks his wife. And then she says, I could do that. What I would need is twice a week. I want a 30-minute full body massage. I love your hands. They're rough, but they're so relaxing and you're so powerful. I want a 30-minute full body massage. It doesn't have to go anywhere. You could just put me to sleep with a massage and go do whatever you want to do the rest of the night. I'm okay with that. And so it ended up Wednesdays and Saturday nights, he gives her a 30-minute full body massage. And every day from work, she meets him at the door with a beer. And then he goes and sits on his couch and she takes his shoes off. And they're both happy as a clam because they're both being fulfilled by their partner and getting the thing they need to be able to thrive.
Right.
Now,
And it's not as costly as they may have thought.
yeah.
Listen, We're out of time. I want people to get over. All the links are there, and you guys, I will take the liberty of dropping all of Jeremy's links that we have inside of the comment section immediately here in a few minutes when we get out of here. I love this. Women, don't think that you can't get over that cheat sheet. Reignite the Passion cheat sheet. I absolutely love it. I suggest we all go and get it. And just go over and take a look. There's so much to this guy. And the reason I love you so much, Jeremy, is that everything that comes out of your mouth makes perfect sense. So that's what the ring of truth sounds like. So thank you so much. You're welcome back anytime. And you guys get over and check him out. Get out of here. Get out there. Do whatever it takes to find your highest self. And I'll meet you, God willing, tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Central out on the front porch where together we can do it again with another illuminated conversation. Now, as I tell you every day in conclusion, when we're getting out of here, get out of here. I love you. And there ain't a damn thing you can do about it. So there. See ya. Jeremy, great job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anytime.
Awesome.
Come back anytime.
This is a great way to start a week.
Oh, thank you, man. All the best. Okay. Bye-bye, everybody. Have a great day. See you tomorrow.
See.
Show me your soul. Baby, I'll show you mine. Show me your soul. Honey, it's way past time. How expensive do I have to be? Need I spell it out before you get it, baby? Show me your soul. And honey, I'll show you mine. I'll show you mine. Oh, I'm standing right here holding up a sign.